Hey y'all, Dr. Devin here. Today I want to talk about the number one most overlooked thing when it comes to pregnancy and even when it comes to fertility. You're told about hormones, you're told about reproductive health, you're told about how to organize those baby showers, what name you should pick. There's so many different things when it comes to fertility and pregnancy. But what is the number one thing that we should be focused on? Well, that's the nervous system. And I'm going to teach you why. So hold on, keep watching this video if you truly want to know why and what you can do about it. But let's start with a story. Most moms who come into Rising Health have almost the exact same story. It starts with, some tough fertility struggles, and then it might move into, they had a lot of ultrasounds during their pregnancy, or they had a really stressful pregnancy. Maybe they lost their dog, maybe they lost their family member, maybe, they were very concerned with what does baby need? How many baby showers should we have? All those different things. Where am I going to deliver? What happens if, there's so many unknowns. Are they taking the classes they need to? What about breastfeeding? So many different things that we have to think about. But then they go into birth, and what happens during birth? A lot of the times we see that mom will get induced because maybe their OB is going on vacation. And most moms don't know about that, but a lot of OBs love to schedule it, right? It's convenient for the OBs, it's convenient for the nurses. And then after an induction occurs, what happens is that Pitocin that they use to mirror oxytocin, they're not the same at all. So with Pitocin contractions, it's boom, 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 over and over again, this intense, constant, and consistent. And what that does, it's super hard on baby. And a lot of the times we see that baby's heart rate will start to lower. It's also really hard on mom. So that's when, she gets that Pitocin. Then she's like, oh my goodness, I really need this epidural. And what we're finding out with epidurals is the toxins and the chemicals within that medication or drug or whatever you want to call it that goes into the back of our spine can also go traveling through the umbilical cord and the placenta to the baby. We see a lot of lethargic babies from this, or we'll see a lot of babies who are super stuck on that gas pedal in fight or flight, which we'll talk about a little bit later. After this, baby is so distressed, mom is so distressed, and now heart rates are dropping. Maybe mom's blood pressure is going higher. And that's when we see that emergency C-section needs to occur. After this, a lot of times difficulty latching occurs. We have a colicky baby, sometimes reflux or constipation. And then as baby gets older into the school year age, we start to see some ADHD tendencies, some sensory struggles or speech delays. The list goes on and on. And then we have teenagers who are struggling with anxiety and adults struggling with depression. And it really is what we call the perfect storm, right? All of those little cascade of events start to add up because it's so much stress upon their nervous system, which controls everything in the entire body. And that's what we call the perfect storm. So how can we start from the beginning, rewind everything, and hopefully prevent this perfect storm? Well, I want to show you why the perfect storm is really happening through stats. And I want to get these right, so I'm going to pull them up on my computer here. Okay, so America is the #1 in emergency care. So incredibly grateful to live here in America with the doctors, the surgeons, the nurses, and our entire healthcare team. And emergency care is wonderful. With that being said, a stat that is, so unacceptable and makes me not very proud to live here is that we're number 55, which is dead last in developed countries for maternal and infant mortality rate. Why is this? Are we messing a little bit too much with prenatal care? Are we trying to intervene because we're so good at emergency care, which maybe, we're unintentionally making it an emergency? America spends close to 100 billion with a B dollars on birth every year. Our fertility market in 2022 was 7.9 billion and is now estimated in 2028 to go to 16.8 billion with a B. 1 in 3 women are induced. 75% of women receive that epidural. And then 1 in 3 women have a C-section, which the World Health Organization says that it should only be 10 to 15% at most for C-sections. It should truly be that emergency. Maybe baby is transverse, maybe they really need to get baby out. There's other complications that can occur that really do deem an emergency C-section, a medical emergency C-section. But a lot of times it's just because of this big cascade of events that we're causing. And then 1 out of 7 American women are experiencing, postpartum mood or anxiety disorder. And then they get right back on birth control. 65% of women. So there is this perfect storm happening within prenatal care. Now, again, we want to prevent the perfect storm. So how are we going to do that? Obviously, hear me on this one. Obviously, we cannot control everything or really anything when it comes to birth and pregnancy, and a lot of times even fertility. But what we can do is make sure that both mom and baby's nervous system are completely and entirely regulated so that they can adapt and be resilient to all of those stressors that come their way. So if they do need to get induced, or if they do need to have that C-section, that mom and baby can both say, okay, there's the stressor coming in, but what am I going to do about it? How am I going to choose to react to this nervous system wise, right? So let's talk about nervous system and really explain it so that everybody understands why the nervous system is the #1 most overlooked thing when it comes to fertility and pregnancy. So for simplicity today, you have the autonomic nervous system. This controls everything in the body. It controls how we're functioning. It controls your hormones. A lot of the times hormones try to take the star of the show, right? And in infertility and pregnancy and postpartum, we give hormones a lot of credit, but the nervous system is the one who controls which hormones are going to be created and expressed and all of that, which we'll go over next. But there are 2 sides to the autonomic nervous system. There's our gas pedal side and there's our brake pedal side. So the gas pedal side, when you are in fight or flight, if there's a bear coming at you, or if you're driving your car and you need to swerve or whatever it may be, that's your fight or flight or your sympathetic nervous system. It's going to turn on. That is intelligently designed. We love that because we need to protect and we need to be in survival mode, some of the time. Your other side, the parasympathetic nervous system, the brake pedal side, that's going to be the relax. That's going to be the rest, digest, and reproduce. Now, the key is that both of these systems need to be fluid, right? I need to run from a bear, and then I need to say, okay, I'm safe. I need to relax. And a lot of, American women are very, very stuck on that gas pedal. So we could be watching, a really funny show like The Office and be stuck in fight or flight when we should be just chilling, not thinking about anything. Our brains are almost on 100% of the time thinking of our list, thinking of the next thing we want to be doing. And we're totally stuck in that fight or flight mode. So with fight or flight or that gas pedal, we're talking hormones. Now there's this pathway called the HPA axis. That's the hypothalamus to the pituitary to the adrenal glands. And the adrenal glands are going to pump out cortisol and adrenaline and all of those hormones that are needed to go, or to, run from the bear. On the brake pedal side, the pathway, the HPG exists. So the hypothalamus, pituitary, to the gonads, to your reproductive organs. And the reproductive organs are going to shoot out progesterone, estrogen, testosterone, all of those baby-making hormones that we need to, or even, even not making a baby, but even just to have a healthy menstrual cycle, or just be healthy people. You need both the HPA and the HPG. The key is that both of these cannot be turned on at the same time. They absolutely cannot. You cannot be running from a bear and then stop and create a baby. That would be messed up, right? God designed us so intelligently, our nervous system, for that reason. So if you're running from a bear or if you're stuck in survival mode, you're not going to be able to give the nutrients that you need to have to grow and develop a healthy baby. So in turn, you're not going to be able to get pregnant because your body is in survival mode of just thinking about you. That is very, very intelligently designed. So what we have to do as neurologically focused chiropractors is we have to tap into that nervous system through chiropractic adjustments and remind your body, okay, this is how you activate your gas pedal. This is how you are in safety mode. And you can have that brake pedal on, because a lot of the times, like I said, when you're watching a show, you're doing the dishes, you're doing all these things, our brain is perceiving those things as the bear and is stuck in fight or flight mode, that survival mode. Therefore, not wanting to create a baby, not wanting to sustain the life of a baby, and really passing on those hormones to baby. So let's talk about that. The umbilical cord, yes, it's for oxygen. Yes, it's for blood flow. Yes, it's for the nutrients from mom to baby, but is also the pathway that takes mom's nervous system and sends a blueprint to baby's nervous system. So whatever mom's nervous system is, so will babies, right? So if mom's super stuck, super stressed, not adapting to stress, right? We cannot choose the stressors that we have in our life, but we can choose how we adapt to them. If mom isn't adapting, baby is getting all of that, all of those stress hormones through that umbilical cord. They are starting the blueprint of their nervous system and development. That nervous system, it starts to develop week 3. So before you even know you're pregnant, which is why preconception or prior to conception care is so incredibly important. But that's where baby is getting that blueprint, and it starts at 3 weeks. And so it's so incredibly important that, us as moms and us as dads prior to conceiving, because, right, it's 50-50. Well, actually, it's more like 60-40, 60% dad. Dad's nervous system is just as important as mom's to create a healthy nervous system in baby. It is so incredibly important that mom and dad are both under neurologically focused chiropractic care. So if you are into this, if you want to see how your nervous system is adapting to all of that stress, we do have neurological insight scans that we run on every single patient. And it would be so cool to see yours, just to see how you're adapting to stress. What does your nervous system look like? Are your adrenals, have they been stuck on the gas pedal for so long that now you might be out of gas? How is are you able to just, access that brake pedal, We can see all those things. We can also see your body battery, testing heart rate variability through those scans. So many things. If you would like to get scanned, call our office, text us, DM us, whatever it may be. But let's get you scheduled for that neurological insight scan so that we can see if your body is ready to create and sustain life. See you guys next time. God bless.